During cost planning, the project manager and team establish a budget at completion, or BAC. The BAC is the project budget. As the project progresses, we learn more about our actual costs and project performance. This allows the team to forecast a new project budget called the Estimate at Completion, or EAC. There are actually four different formulas for the EAC, and which one you use depends on the scenario that best fits your project. Some projects are very stable and consistent, while others may encounter a one-time significant risk event. Other projects may underperform in both cost and schedule, and both factors should be taken into account. In this topic, we will cover the first two formulas for calculating EAC. Let's start with the first of the four possible scenarios. In this case, you are the project manager having a conversation with a project team member. You are trying to determine what your EAC forecast should be based on project information available to date. You learn that you're pretty close to your BAC, and the same cost performance is expected to continue. The CPI of 1.07 is the cost performance index. Your original BAC is $1 million. Can you think of a way that the CPI can be used to manipulate the BAC and give you a new forecasted EAC? You may pause the video at any time to determine the answer, and then resume the video when you're ready to hear the correct answer. If you said divide the BAC by the CPI, you are correct. Since a CPI of greater than 1 is an indicator that you are operating under budget, we should expect the EAC to be less than the BAC. When we divide the BAC of $1 million by the CPI of 1.07, we come up with a new EAC of $934,579. This is the best formula to use when we have stable cost performance and it is expected to continue. Let's try another example. In this case, the BAC is still $1 million, but the CPI is 0.89. Knowing that a CPI of less than 1 means that our project is running over budget, can you make an assumption about the EAC without even calculating it? We can assume that the EAC will be greater than our $1 million original budget at completion. Now, take a moment and calculate the EAC. Feel free to pause the video at any time and resume when you're ready. If you said that the EAC is $1,123,596, you are correct. Let's explore the second possible scenario. You are trying to determine what your EAC forecast should be based on project information available to date. Your cost performance was perfect and your CPI was a 1. Then your project experienced extra supply costs due to a hurricane. The project is back on track, but the hurricane cost $75,000. This was an isolated incident, and while you know you have to account for the deviation from budget, you don't want it to skew your estimate at completion. Your original BAC is $1 million. Can you think of a way to account for the hurricane and come up with a new forecasted EAC? If you'd like more time to think about your answer, just pause the video and resume when you're ready. If you said something like, add the cost of the hurricane to the BAC, you are correct. Since the BAC would have been correct if not for the hurricane, we will add the cost of that isolated event as the only addition to our budget. There are two ways to calculate this, and you will get the same answer either way. The easiest way is to subtract any cost variance from the BAC to come up with the new EAC. Since the cost variance caused by the hurricane is negative $75,000, the resulting formula is $1 million minus negative $75,000. This means you will actually add $75,000 to the original BAC of $1 million, giving you a new EAC of $1,075,000. In summary, an estimate at completion, or EAC, is a new budget forecast based on what we have learned and experienced with our project to date. We have covered two of the four possible scenarios for determining the EAC.